Welcome. If this is your first time, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Michelle, and we're the Wandering Shores.
So I've got to believe that this might be the coolest spot that we have done our monthly expenses video at. Welcome to the
Nautilus in Kanab.
Yeah, outside of Kanab, Utah. So as you can see, it's pretty amazing. We're actually going to film some more of it and take some still photos. But today you're here with us. We're going to go through our monthly expenses for the month of October. For those of you who have been around for a while, we started this, I believe, in June of 2024. So, you know, we've been doing it 5-6 months now. And each month we kind of change it up a little bit. We try to find a cool place to do it at. As you can see, I think we've succeeded. It's a little windy and a little chilly today, but we've got our little muffs on here, so hopefully you can hear us fine. But this month what we're going to do is we're going to go through the monthly expenses for October, and then we're also going to compare those this month to what we've been averaging monthly for the last 6 months. So it really gives us an idea of what 2024 is looking like financially for us. As you know, if you've seen any of the previous episodes, we've had a lot of vehicle repairs, to say the least. So that's always a crapshoot when it comes to these monthly expenses. But we'll go ahead and get started. The first item we're going to talk about is how much did we spend in October on medical?
We spent $60.20, and our average for the last 6 months is $33.76.
Okay, well, let's slow down, Michelle. Sometimes we got to give them details about things before you start rolling over everything. So $60.20, that's fairly normal for us. We had, I think, a prescription we filled in Burley, Idaho when we were there, so that accounts for some of the extra for the month. But yeah, we average about $35. We spent about $60. No big deal. Next is going to be utilities. And so for utilities, what we're looking at is gas for the generator, cost of dumping sewer, you know, that's probably pretty much it. We're on solar, so, you know, there's not a whole lot more.
Yeah, we spent $138.26. And over the last 6 months, our average was $91.92.
Yeah, so we're about $40 higher for the month of October than we are for the average for 6 months. Part of that is, as you've seen in some of our videos, and if you watched this past Sunday's video, we ended up in Bryce Canyon National Park area in a snowfall. And so we've been running our generator quite a bit. So a lot of that is actually just propane costs to keep the RV, you know, warm and not freezing. So,
exactly.
Lodging and travel for the month of October. Lodging and travel really consists of campgrounds for us for the most part, or if we buy tickets to fly somewhere, which we did not. But what was our October?
$0.
O-H-I-O. Zero.
Yep. And over the last 6 months, our average was $190.54.
Yeah, so we're well under budget on that. Next is dining and entertainment. So in October, we spent
$114.80.
And that's, you know, that's if we pay to go to an event or pay to go see something. And obviously going out to eat is also included in that as well. And so, yeah, $115 for the month of October, and our average for the month for 6 months, Michelle?
$154.41.
All right. Business expense. Business expenses for us are our cell phone, advertising on any of the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, things like that. We don't do a lot of that, but we have done some over the last few months. That's really helped us grow. It is also anything related to upgrading our camera equipment, our video, something for the videos we can usually count as an expense, and I'll explain that here in a minute. How much did we spend in October?
$977.77.
And what do we average every 6?
Our average is $666.40.
So yeah, we averaged about $300 more than we usually do on business expenses, and for us, most of that was because if you watched last Friday, we talked about our new batteries that we're going to be installing in our RV. We actually have already installed them. That video is going to come out this coming Sunday, so I hope you'll check that out. But we paid for one of the eco-worthy batteries, and we bought the other one out of pocket, and that's where that extra cost of about $300-400 came from for the month of October. Household and home items. This also includes any expenses related to pets.
And our total for October was $404.43.
And for the 6-month average?
$480.84.
Yeah, so we're about the same. We're about $80 less for the month of October, so that's good. Groceries.
And groceries for October, $749.04. And for the 6-month average, $753.34.
Yeah, it's $750 pretty much every month.
Yeah.
You know, that's a kind of a standard expense for us. We've kind of become, you know, we've been tracking our expenses, well, for probably 30 years
long time.
in Quicken, and so our average on groceries since we've hit the road has been about $700 to $800. So that's fairly normal. So the last category is actually split in two. It's the auto category. Obviously, fuel is one of them. And Michelle, what did we spend in October for fuel?
We spent $508.42. And then for the 6-month average, $446.83.
Yeah, so I think last month we spent about $250 in fuel, so we've doubled that from last month. But that's because we've come all the way from, I think that we were in Wyoming when we actually did that video, and now we're in southern Utah. So we've traveled lots and lots of mileage. So a lot of that is just accounted for in the gas expenses. And then the auto service expenses, how much did we spend in October?
We spent $481.59.
All right, and so service expenses are getting truck repaired, oil changes, things like that. That's actually what some of that is. We've also had a recent... Well, if you've watched our videos for a while, you know when we were in Lander, Wyoming, we had some issues with rattling underneath the hood of the car that we thought actually had something to do with our CV axle. Turned out it was just a broken bracket. Well, that bracket broke even more again last month, and so I ended up buying and installing a whole new cold air intake. So of that $480, $350 of it is that cold air intake. So we really didn't have too many expenses outside of that one item that I had to replace in the truck. But we've been averaging how much over 6?
$1,450.71.
Yeah, so over the last 6 months, we've been bleeding through the auto service bank, and we spent almost $1,500. So we actually are $1,100 cheaper on auto service on average for last month, even though, you know, we really only had that one big item we had to replace. So the grand total for October is
$3,470.50.
And our 6-month average?
$4,437.12.
Yeah, so we're basically $1,000 less last month than we are on average over the last 6. We're about $1,000 more than we were the month before, but a lot of that is accounted for really by buying the upgraded battery for the RV, the 280 amp hour Eco Worthy, and then obviously the increase cost in the auto service when we replaced the cold air intake system. So yeah, we're excited. I hope this information is helpful for you. Every month we compile our numbers. There's nothing on this sheet that we didn't account for. So, you know, some people, when they go through their RV related expenses, they'll leave all this ambiguous stuff. We don't do that. This is exactly how much we spent to the penny in the month of October, and we're hoping that as we head south, we're going to be using less propane. We are also going to be sitting stationary here in about 3 weeks when we get down to the Yuma, Arizona area, where we're going to stay for at least a month and a half or so.
Where it's warm.
Yeah, it's a little bit warmer down there, to say the least. I think it's in the high 70s, low 80s right now, and we're at 50 degrees. And 20s in the evenings. But we love it here. This is really our first time camping in this area, and we hope you like the Nautilus, and we hope you'll check out our video when we share the whole experience with you from the Kanab area. But this Sunday we're going to do our battery install, and then next Sunday we'll catch back up with you on what happened while we were in Bryce and how did we end up in Kanab. And we hope this is helpful.
Yeah, if you like this content, make sure you give us a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and the notification bell. Ding, ding. And we'll bring you more content from places like this.
See you next week, everyone.